Hello everyone, my name is Wojciech Waśniewski and you're listening to the Participation Coaching podcast, where I try to explore effective non-performance coaching. So how do we coach beginner, junior and recreational players? Today another episode in the junior series with coach Rick Grayson. Rick has over 35 years of experience in growing the game of golf at the very grassroots level. He's the author of the book Inspire Junior Golf, The Future of the Game is in Your Hands. And he's done some impressive feats on growing the game on local and national level in America. There's a number of things we talk about, including Rick's background and how he got into teaching juniors, how he raised money and built a 4-hole inclusive junior-centered golf course, as well as redesigned a par-3 golf course with junior players in mind. We talk about Rick's Junior Golf Foundation, Golf in the Schools program, and how he got golf as part of a local PE curriculum. Girls Golf program, Rick shares the events he runs for juniors and how he tracks results of the grassroots activities and some problems with tracking those results. He shares his views on long-term participation in golf, as well as facilities and equipment needed for effective junior golf programs. And we talk about his book, Inspire Junior Golf. I think this interview, as the title of the book says, Inspire Junior Golf, I think it's inspiring for golf coaches to truly have a dent on the growth of the game and the growth of junior golf. So I hope it inspires you as well. Let's get into the interview with Rick Grayson. So Rick, how did you start playing golf and how did you start coaching junior golfers?
Well, I started playing golf. First, I'm going to back up a second. It's an honor and privilege to do this interview. And I thank you for your time. And I know that you're spreading the word about golf and junior golf all over the world. So thank you very much for what you're doing. I grew up in a golfing family. My father played golf. My mother played golf. And I was drugged to the golf course when I was a little one, probably 7 or 8 years old, and not really having a lot of interest in the game at that time. I was a baseball player as a kid. And once I got in about the 6th or 7th grade, the bug hit me pretty hard. I'd seen a movie about Ben Hogan's life story called Follow the Sun, and I wanted a set of Ben Hogan golf clubs because I was starting to play some, and my parents told me that I could have a set if I got a job and saved my money, so I got a paper route when I was about in the 7th grade and delivered newspapers and saved my money, and bought me a set of golf clubs when I was in the 7th grade and played with them all the way through college. But I got into it because of my parents loved the game, and it was just kind of a family thing. And when I graduated from college, I played 4 years of college golf. I wasn't quite the competitive golfer as far as my ability goes to make a living playing golf. So I did the next best thing. I went to work at a golf course. And when I went to work at a golf course, the head professional was a big proponent of junior golf and did a lot of junior lessons. And he kind of put me in charge of that when I first started off working for him. And I just developed the love of working with kids and seeing them kind of get involved in the greatest game of all of them. So that's kind of a little bit about my background, how I started doing it.
So it's been 35 years of coaching juniors now?
Yeah, probably a little bit more than that if you want to really look at the calendar, but we'll say that's close enough. And myself, as I was teaching golf, I became very involved in the instruction part of it. I used to go watch some of the great teachers in the 70s and the 80s, Bob Toski, Davis Love, Jim Flick, some people that taught at a national level, and I would go every winter and watch them teach and learn from them. And when I'd come back into our area, I started developing quite a following of students because my expertise. And in that process, I started working with a lot of kids, a lot of juniors, kids that wanted to play high school or college golf. So I really got more involved in studying and creating programs for the junior golfers. And in 17 years ago, myself and another PGA golf professional that's now deceased, we formed the Heart of the Ozarks Junior Golf Foundation. And our mission statement was to provide access to kids that normally didn't have access to golf. And one of the first things that we did, we raised $250,000 and built a 4-hole junior course so kids and their parents could play free. The holes are only about 40 or 50 yards in length. There's artificial greens, so disabled kids can be wheeled up on the green and putt. And we have a cart path to where they can be wheeled down the cart path in a wheelchair and then up on the green to putt. We have handicap equipment for the disabled kids. And it was all built on the premise of where does a 4 or 5 or 6-year-old kid actually go out and play golf, and how does the parent afford it? So that was the first thing we raised money for, and it became hugely successful for parents and their kids to come out and play anytime, particularly on the weekends. And you'd look over there and you would see like a 3 or 4-year-old kid playing with their parents on a Saturday or Sunday, which is pretty unique in the state to see that, because most of the courses are for adults on the weekend. So after that concept kind of took hold in our area here, we have a par 3 golf course, a lighted par 3 course that basically was run down and just barely open. Well, our Junior Golf Foundation, we raised about $650,000 and redesigned the whole par 3 course, making it more junior and family friendly. We have junior tees, we have adult tees, we have championship tees. It's a lighted course. We expanded the greens, and we did this with the city that owns the golf course under the guidance to where if we did this, juniors could play free up until the age of 14 with a paid adult. So in Springfield, Missouri, where I live here in the United States, a child can play golf all the way up to the age of 14 without ever paying a fee because of our work through our Junior Golf Foundation. And another one of the programs that we've done has been highly successful. We have what we call a golf in schools program. We have 47 schools, elementary schools, and what we call middle schools here in the United States, which is kindergarten through the 8th grade. Our Junior Golf Foundation raised money and gave every school a kit. It's the Tri-Golf kit that has enough equipment and balls and clubs for around 25 to 30 kids. The local PGA golf professionals went in and trained the PE people to use the equipment, and we turned the equipment over to the schools with the stipulation that the kids would get 6 weeks of golf as part of their PE requirement. So if you have a child here where we live in Springfield, Missouri in the United States, from age kindergarten through the 8th grade, every year of school, they get 6 weeks of golf as part of their PE requirement. So that's kind of what the 3 big things that we've done so far as building a 4-hole course, redesigning an existing par 3 course, and doing a golf in schools program. We also have a girls program. It's run, sponsored by the LPGA, USGA, where we have a girls program, beginning girls from age 7 to 17, and we'll have about 60 or 70 girls come out for that program, and they get a series of 5 lessons, and then we have a league for the girls to participate in after the instruction part of it's over. And the last night of our instruction program, we invite each girl to have their parents and brothers and sisters come out. So we may have 250 to 300 people there at our final event, and we have a big pizza party for the girls, and we have clowns that show up, and face painting and balloons for the girls. And the icing on the cake is any girl that doesn't have equipment when the program's over, we raise money and give them a set of U.S. Kids Club, brand new set of clubs for the girls to start off with. So it's been a highly successful program as well.
Those are some amazing projects. I wanted to pause at the schools coaching for a second, as I've done quite a few of these interviews during the last few weeks, and the subject comes up a lot. And there is a trend. Some coaches go away from schools coaching as a promotional activity, as they say they didn't see enough results, enough value in doing those, up to some other coaches that base their business around school coaching, and they do it for money. They're getting paid to run the coaching sessions either by the school, by the parents, or by some sort of foundation. I was wondering if you're tracking the results in a way of this program, or have you tracked those? Or maybe you could start with another question. When did the program start? How long has it been going for?
The Golf in Schools program, we started in 2007, so this will be our 11th year. And how we track it is basically based on the participation of junior events. Are our junior events, and I'll explain what those are here in just a minute, are those junior events more attended with more juniors than they were, say, 10 or 11 years ago? And our answer is yes. And what those are is we have in our community here, we have a junior golf league for kids to participate in as far as playing tournaments. They can play during the golf season. There'll be about 40 tournaments that the kids can participate in, starting, say, in April and ending in October. Well, because of what we're doing, there's more kids entering those programs to play in some competitive form of golf. The PGA Junior League each year has increased over the last 2 or 3 years. The girls high school teams have seen more participation because of what we're doing with the girls program, to where last year some of the schools actually had a cut. They had more girls going out for the golf team than they had coaches for, so they had to have a cut. So that's how we kind of can track it, because you really can't, I don't know how you can track if I work with a kid in the 9th grade or 7th grade and they really didn't play golf for the next 2 or 3 years, but then maybe when they got out of school, they got a job and started playing because of they got it as a PE requirement. Now they become a golfer, but how do you track that in between the 2 or 3? So how we try to track it is participation in the events that we have, like our drive, pitch, and putt contest is up. The PGA Junior League's up. The girls golf program is up. The summer tournaments are up. So that's how we track it to see if we're making an impact.
That makes perfect sense. It's a long process after all.
And here's my answer to that. Even though we can't verify it 100%, if we don't do these things, how are we growing the game? If we decide to do nothing because we really can't track it 100% accurately, is doing nothing going to solve our problem as far as getting more people to play the game? Well, obviously not. And I believe that when these kids get it in the golf in schools, and I'll talk to you about when you were talking about doing that as a paid position, I believe these kids that will get it into schools will, once they get through playing soccer or baseball or football or whatever, they're going to go back to golf when they get into their 20s and early 30s for an activity to do. So I think it's hard to track that when you have a big gap. But I believe the more we can expose it to them, the better chance they've got of staying with it. What we do when we do our Golf in Schools program, we have in the spring and the fall, we have a school tournament. Each school that has Golf in Schools in it fields a team, and they compete against the other schools on a lighted par 3 course. And when we do this, we'll have about 20 schools that show up for it, and they're on 4-person teams, and their parents come out to watch them, their grandparents come out to watch them, their siblings will come out to watch them. So when we do an event like that, we'll have over 300 people on a lighted par 3 course watching these kids play. When we have them there at the tournament, we can solicit them giving their parents literature about different programs that we offer juniors during the summer. So it's a way of advertising your services when you have that many kids and their parents at one facility like that. So it's a good way of doing it. We'll have people that go in and assist, like a PGA member like myself. I may go assist at a grade school and the golf in schools program, and while I'm there, be able to give them literature about some programs that's coming up during the summer for kids to take home for their parents about golf programs.
So you've got the grassroots promotional stuff. You've got the facilities, the free hole golf course and the redesigned par 3 course. As of coaching, do you run the coaching sessions yourself, or do you run any sort of CPD education for the other coaches in the area?
I do the coaching at really all of our programs. We have like I mentioned, we have our LPGA program where we have 60 or 70 girls. I'm one of the lead instructors in that program. I also offer in the summer months, June, July, and August, week-long summer camps for the kids, where I'm the lead instructor in that type of instruction. Also, too, we started a couple of years ago a tri-golf league for kids that are 3, 4, 5, 6 years of age, and I'm the lead instructor on that. And a lot of people, we use the junior course, but here's some ideas that for your listeners out there that maybe don't have access to a 4-hole junior course. You can use these types of equipment, and I'll explain that in a second, at a field, a park, a playground, a soccer field. What we use is balls that are similar to tennis balls, exaggerated cups, kind of like a hula hoop, with plastic clubs, or if you have cut down clubs, and you can make a 4-hole, 5-hole, 18-hole course at a park, at a school ground, or anything. You don't have to get these kids that are 4 and 5 years of age actually on a golf course at first. The message there is for them to get the thrill and excitement out of hitting a golf ball. So when people say, "Yeah, well, you got it easy. You got a course right there where you're at." Well, that's true. But the first 2 or 3 years that we did our tri-golf program, we actually did it at a park. And one reason we did it at a park, we wanted people at the park to see that these kids were actually playing golf in a safe area. So maybe they would want to join us, or maybe they would have kids. So you don't have to have a fancy facility to get these kids organized and let them experience the opportunity of hitting a golf ball.
What sort of specific equipment are you using? Am I right in saying that you use Snag Golf?
We used to use Snag. We use a company called Tri-Golf, and the reason we use Tri-Golf here in the United States is it's about the fourth of the price of Snag, which makes it very affordable for our foundation if we're going to buy it and donate it to the schools or some schools outside our area. We have like 3 hours away, there's a foundation that's done basically the same thing that we've done a couple of 100 miles from here. And the Tri-Golf set is used over in England and in Canada, and it's more affordable. Plus, it comes with lesson plans for the PE teacher. So once they get a kit, it's not like, wow, what do I do with this? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. There's lesson cards in the kit that helps them set it up each day to have fun activities for the kids to use. So we use Tri-Golf, and then in the middle schools, we use from the same company, it's called Extreme Golf. And Extreme Golf for the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, they're using regular 7-irons, metal shafts, metal heads, and almost golf balls, where the Tri-Golf set is more plastic clubs and plastic balls. Their thought and mine, and I agree with them, when you get in the 7th, 8th, the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, these kids don't want plastic clubs. They think it's like a toy. So the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders get real equipment, putters and 7-irons.
Oh yeah, I'm using the same equipment. Those are great kits, really. So you've done this for a while. You've done the golf development. You're in the grassroots for quite a few years now. I was wondering if there is something that you yourself, or maybe you've seen someone try and it didn't work. So some sort of development program, something you tried to get people playing golf or get them excited about golf. and you thought it might work, but it turned out it didn't?
Well, a little bit of both. Meaning, when I stepped back 20 years ago and analyzed how we were instructing, me included, juniors into the game, it was like no wonder that we're at this point where we're not growing the game, because basically you had kids that were using equipment and balls and targets that were like a scratch golfer would use with a low handicap, and it would be on the driving range having the kids pound 100 golf balls with their driver, trying to get them better that way. And I just kind of looked at that and thought, that's not the best. It's got to be more fun for kids. So when we do a kind of a camp environment, what we do is we have stations set up, and these kids that I'm talking about are all around the same age. We don't have a 7-year-old with a 17-year-old. They're all like the 7 and 8-year-olds would be together. We have a putting station, a chipping station, a pitching station, an iron station, a wood station, and a bunker station. And the kids spend about 10 or 15 minutes at each station, and we rotate them around to where they're not sitting there being bored by pounding ball after ball after ball after ball. And we have miniature golf set up for them on the putting green. We have the anthill, the loop-de-loop. So when we practice our putting, it's fun. And what kid doesn't like miniature golf? So I can't say that I saw somebody doing this necessarily, but I talk a lot of junior golf and with other people and learn from them as well. So this isn't all my ideas, but I just kind of look back and thought, no wonder we're not growing the game. We're not teaching, just like in bowling, for an example, they have bumper lanes where little kids, they can't throw it in the gutter. It hits the bumpers on the side and the ball bounces back. I mean, kids playing t-ball in baseball, they put the ball on the tee and try to hit it at first. Basketball lowered the goal. Tennis reduced the size of the court for little kids. Got oversized rackets, bigger balls. Well, for years, we weren't doing any of those things. We were teaching kids how to play golf the same way somebody my age that's in my 60s was trying to play golf. And it's just too difficult for them. They get frustrated with it. So we have to change that, and we are changing that. We're changing. The equipment is a lot better for kids to play golf today to start out with than ever before.
Thankfully, that's changing now. With regards to your girls program, I was wondering if there is something that in this program compared to your other programs that you run, is there something that you do differently when working with junior girls, or is there something that coaches should do differently, in your opinion, when working with girls specifically?
Oh, yes. I mean, to me, the fundamental, the grip and the stance and ball position really doesn't vary among boys or girls. But when we're working with girls, it's a lot more social. We have hula hoop contests with them. We have bubblegum blowing contests with them. We have cartwheel contests with them. It's fun, and I don't want you to think, or your listeners, that when we work with kids that we're not serious about them becoming golfers. We are, but what we're serious about is the kids having fun at the golf course. Just like on the 4-hole junior course that I mentioned, we have a 3-story giant golf bag as the clubhouse for the kids. And inside the clubhouse is a giant slide. The kids can come over to the junior course and go down a slide. There's 2 interactive games in the clubhouse for kids. So my point is, going back to your question about girls, we try to make it all more fun so where the kids will say, Mom, I want to take lessons. That was fun. And golf is just kind of a part of what we do to have fun with the kids to where they want to come back. And I think if I understood your previous statement a little while ago, you were saying sometimes people were saying things about girls golf. It's just not working. We're not getting enough girls. And my solution would be to that is you're not making enough fun for the girls. If you make it fun, they're going to show up. Girls want to have fun. They want to play. They want to socialize. So if I was going to analyze programs that aren't growing, that are not like getting more participants each year with kids, I would have to say, how are we all know how to teach. We all know the grip, the stance, the ball position. So those things are already understandable. How we present the fun aspect of coming to the golf course is what we've got to do a better job of getting kids to participate.
Hmm. Would that be something that you'd say something that makes a good junior coach?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sure. I mean, again, uh, I'm I'm just one in millions of people that can teach golf. Lots of people teach golf, but it's how it's administered to the student that separates where the kids want to go. So communication skills are critical with kids. You have to love it. You have to want to be with the kids. You want to have fun with the kids. They sense that. It can't be acted on. You can't say, "Okay, dang it, I've got some kids coming. I'm going to have to act like I want them to come through the door." You've got to be excited about seeing them. You've got to try to make it where they want to come back, and that shows to the kids. They know you care about them, and I care about them obviously as a kid, so to speak, as far as learning the game, not just as a golfer. That's just part of what we try to do.
Hmm. So you wrote a book, Inspired Junior Golf, The Future of the Game is in Your Hands. And it's a great book that goes into much more detail in what we've discussed so far. But it's been out for a few years now, about around 5 or so. And I've been wondering if there is something that you would add to the book today.
No, there's nothing that I can't say that I would add anything to the book that we left out when we did the book, because the book was a lifetime of 20 or 30 years of doing these kind of programs. So we didn't really miss anything that we could add to the book. It's what I'm kind of getting involved in now. That's as well as our junior golf focus. We're gonna adapt the program to where we work with a lot of disabled veterans. They'll be adults, not juniors. So we're going to be working with a lot more disabled vets down the road. That's kind of another aspect that we're kind of getting involved with. But answering your question about Inspired Junior Golf, and I appreciate the kind words that you said about it, is I don't think I'd change anything about it, because it's all relevant today as well when we wrote the book about how to get kids more involved in the game. And when I wrote the book, the person that edited the book, the publisher, actually said, "Do you think you're going to sell many of these books?" And it's like, no, probably not, because you have to be a special person to want to read the book, because it's not an instruction book. It doesn't teach you how to, it doesn't talk to you about how to teach a grip and stance. It's all about junior programs. So the people that buy the book are junior people, or they're oriented that way as far as growing the game. And we hope that number grows each year, but it's not going to be a book that's for everybody.
For sure. Where can people get the book nowadays?
You can contact us through either you can contact us through Facebook, which obviously be Rick Grayson. You can contact us on Twitter at Rick Grayson on Twitter. I could give you an email address. It's Rick, R-I-C-K, Grayson, Grayson, golf, obviously Golf, Rick Grayson Golf at SBC. That's Sam Barney Charlie, SBCglobal.net. And we'd be glad to ship them. And I'm holding you responsible to see if you can make that the best seller in Poland.
I'll try. However, I do remember that I had to jump through some hoops when I got it myself.
Yes.
I think my girlfriend was in the United States and she picked it up for me, but I'll do my best, definitely.
Good. Well, we appreciate that.
Rick, you're very passionate on growing the game of golf and growing junior golf. Is there something like a message you'd like to end with, a message to junior coaches worldwide or just golf coaches? Anything you'd like to share?
Well, the main thing is keep in mind that when you could take a child, you could take an adult, we'll say, and you could ask them who their 8th grade English teacher was. And there's a good chance they wouldn't remember it, or their math teacher, or their geography teacher. But if you ask them who's the person that taught them golf, or who introduced them to golf, they'll remember that for the rest of their life. So if there is a message, it's we are impacting a person's life forever through the gift of golf. And we may not know it at the time. You may not realize it at the time, but we are. We're very influential in people's lives when we're introduced into the game of golf. The game of golf is the greatest game of all. It teaches us honesty, integrity, workmanship, commitment, competitiveness. Everything that we need in life, we can learn through the game of golf. And that's why so many people that play golf become outstanding people in their own lives. But my point is to have fun with the kids and make an impression or make an impact with them, and they'll always remember that. And I can't think of anything more rewarding for somebody to walk up to you or myself and say, I remember you. You were my golf coach when I was 5 or 6 years old. We had a lot of fun. So that would be the message, is make it fun for the kids and try to impact as many kids as you can in your life.
That's a powerful message. Rick, thank you very much for taking the time and sharing your thoughts and views on junior golf. Again, the book, Inspire Junior Golf, The Future of the Game is in Your Hands. I highly recommend it. Rick, thank you so much for doing the interview.
Well, thank you very much, and I appreciate what you're doing. You're doing a great job, a great service to the golfing community, and you should be commended for that. So thank you, and thank you for having me for the interview.
Thank you, Rick. I really appreciate it.
All right, bye-bye.
This is Wojciech again. Thanks for listening. If you don't want to miss any future episodes in this junior series, subscribe to the podcast or sign up to the mailing list. You can find all the links on ParticipationCoaching.com/subscribe. If you have any suggestions on future guests or just any feedback on the podcast in general, feel free to shoot me an email at hi@ParticipationCoaching.com. Thanks for listening again, and I'll hear you next time. Music in this episode came from bensound.com.